There are stories about what happened.
It's true. All of it.
Hello everyone, thanks for listening to a special episode of Diz Connected, an unofficial Disney podcast of magical proportions. I'm Whit Laxon, your Disney enthusiast host, and joining me today to talk Star Wars The Force Awakens is my friend and fellow Disney plus Star Wars fan, Katie Carter. Hi Katie!
Hi, Whit. Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. Katie is coming to us via Skype, and Katie writes movie reviews for Examiner.com and is a 2013 Disneyland alumni of the Disney College program. So very excited to have her with me to talk Star Wars today. We are going to be talking spoilers for The Force Awakens, so if you haven't seen the movie, you need to seek medical attention. No, I'm just kidding. But you need to just come back and watch this or listen to this later before hearing spoilers. So, let's get started, Katie.
All right.
You have seen this movie 3 times. I've seen it twice. I'm actually going to let you set up the plot for this film, and I should note that this movie has broken all box office records possible, it seems like, at this point. No surprise, but it takes place 3 decades after the events of Episode 6. So kind of set up the story for us, if you don't mind.
Well, the film kind of sets up a new conflict. Instead of the Empire and the Rebels, we have the First Order and we have the Resistance. And it brings in some old heroes. We've got Han Solo, Princess Leia, both coming back. And then it introduces some new ones. So kind of starts out on this new planet called Jakku. We meet a heroine called Rey. Her past is kind of mysterious. We also meet a stormtrooper named Finn who kind of has a change of heart and decides to help out the Resistance. And it kind of follows their story as they try to return a droid BB-8 to the Resistance. He's got some plans to find Luke Skywalker, who went missing after one of his apprentices turned to the dark side.
And that apprentice is Kylo Ren, who, here we go with the big spoiler, which kind of connects everything, I feel like, with this new trilogy, which is that Kylo Ren is the son of Han Solo and Princess, now General Leia. Now, I'm a big Star Wars fan, but I know you're, like, on a different level than me.
Yes.
And isn't Star Wars, like, the movie that made you fall in love with films?
It really is. The first Star Wars movie
original.
I saw was The Phantom Menace. I saw it in theaters. Did not want to see it at all.
So hold on. The Phantom Menace was the first one you saw?
It was. Hold on.
Well, it might have been, honestly, it might have been for me too, but I feel like maybe not. I don't know.
Okay. Well, that was the first one I saw. I saw it in the theater. Did not want to see it, like I said. Totally loved it. Went back, watched the originals, and I've just been a huge fan ever since. The original Star Wars has been my favorite movie for so long. So to see this return to the franchise was just beyond exciting for me.
You know, we didn't grow up with the originals. We grew up with the prequels coming out, so we got to experience those. And it's weird that because of the original series, we didn't know how it was going to happen, but we knew kind of what was going to happen. And with this trilogy, we don't know what's going to happen at all. So it's really exciting. What did you think of The Force Awakens?
I loved it. I mean, I know that there are a lot of people out there who are kind of having a hissy fit because it does mirror A New Hope in many ways in terms of plot. I mean, you've got like a mega Death Star planet called Starkiller Base in this movie. It has like one fatal flaw that they're like so easily able to destroy. We've got some father-son issues.
BB-8 versus R2-D2 and that sort of thing.
Yeah, but I think that's a good thing because we're kind of establishing a bridge between the original trilogy and this new trilogy. And I think it's kind of bringing people back into this world by giving them something that's familiar. And then I think as the franchise goes on, we'll maybe be seeing some new things. So I had no problem with it. I totally loved it.
I loved it too. So excited, of course, to see this. And when it started, like, just chills. Like, Chills all over. And when it ended, you're just kind of sitting there, it is just like, what just happened? Like clapping, just so excited for this movie. But I loved it. Total adventure movie. Had the same feeling of the original trilogy, which was great. I think that the prequels, I do enjoy the prequels, but they don't feel like they're in the same world sometimes as the originals for me. This felt like the same world, galaxy that the episode 4, 5, and 6 were in, I guess. And so kudos to J.J. Abrams for capturing that, which I know was their goal.
In terms of story and characters, this is easily one of the strongest movies. Rey is just like a fantastic protagonist. She's so interesting. I love that we don't know too much about her yet. It's going to keep her interesting as the trilogy continues. I love the chemistry amongst the characters. Finn and Poe have like 2 scenes together in the whole movie, and people just absolutely love them. So that's great. It's also visually, I think, the most beautiful Star Wars movie to date, in terms of combining practical effects with motion capture. I think that they did a really great job with that. It looks great. The ending is just like beautiful. The best ending of any Star Wars movie by far.
As far as the actors in this, what do you think? I loved every single one of them.
Love them. I love that with the main cast they went with primarily newcomers. John Boyega's been in really one kind of major movie before this. Daisy Ridley has not been in anything. This is her first film. Oscar Isaac, I've been a fan of since Inside Llewyn Davis a couple of years ago, which was my favorite movie of 2013. Got 0 awards attention, which is really upsetting. But I think his career is really like coming to light now because of this movie, and people are really interested in him. So yeah, I totally loved it. I think that they all fit into the world so well, and yeah, it was great. And it's really funny too. Like, I was not expecting the movie to be as funny as it was.
I really liked BB-8 and just all the new characters. What about Kylo Ren? How'd you feel about him as a villain?
Oh, I thought he was great. I love that he's, with the originals, Darth Vader initially seems just kind of like this really invincible evil force. And Kylo Ren, you can tell he has flaws. He can't control his anger. And that moment on the bridge with Han Solo, his father, where he's, telling him, "Will you help me do what I need to do? I'm torn apart." It was so believable. He had me going for a second.
I thought like he was actually going to, turn back to the light side. Like for a second, he had me for a second. So it was very good.
Yeah, Adam Driver was
right.
He totally nailed that.
So yeah, any other thoughts that you feel like you need to mention?
It does work well as its own.
Right. Because I've talked to a few people who hadn't seen any of the other films and they loved this. I'm like, yeah, it works, but you're not going to get some of the references to the older movies. So,
but this is what I would call an event movie too. So
definitely.
Go see it in the theater with an audience.
Yes.
Don't just wait for it to come out on DVD. Definitely watch it again when it comes out on DVD.
Yeah.
But
I saw it in IMAX and 3D, which I saw it in 3D both times that I've seen it, just because there weren't tickets available for the regular showings. I thought the 3D was fine. The IMAX was great. So.
And I usually hate 3D, but it worked well. It was not distracting.
Nope.
So, if anyone's worried about 3D or not sure if you want to see it or not, I'd say, check it out. I've seen it in 3D and 2D, and both are great.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Well, 5 stars across the board, I think, for both of us.
Absolutely.
Great. Because it's the end of 2015, I'm going to be discussing my top 5 favorite Disney happenings of the year, starting off with an honorable mention, the Hocus Pocus Villain Spelltacular show at Walt Disney World at Magic Kingdom during Halloween. So great. I think that Disney is like setting out feelers to see how interested people would be in a Hocus Pocus sequel. I think it's happening, even though Bette Midler says it's not. But loved that show. Did you get a chance to watch it on YouTube or anything?
I did, yeah, and I so regret that I wasn't able to see it in person.
I know. So great.
Really, really fun, really nostalgic.
Yes, loved it. At number 5, I'm going with Disney's live-action rendition of Cinderella that was released in March. And I really enjoyed that movie, and it made me feel a lot more confident about this live-action trend that Disney seems to be on at the moment, this live-action remake thing. Because I enjoyed it a lot more than Maleficent. I'm very excited for, what's to come with Jungle Book and Beauty and the Beast. So did you enjoy Cinderella as much as I did?
I did, yeah. I mean, it didn't blow me away, but it was just a really nice retelling of the story, and I absolutely hated Maleficent, so I was really glad to see, even if it was a little safe, I was very happy with how it turned out.
Okay, number 4 is the Disneyland 60th Diamond Anniversary Celebration. Loved all of the different, special events that they had, and Paint the Night, so amazing. Makes any nighttime parade I've ever seen just seem boring because it's so great.
It is, yeah. I mean, and especially having done my college program at Disneyland, that was all just like really special, and I was really bummed out that I wasn't able to be there in person, but seeing all the celebrations around it was really, really great.
Number 3 for me is Disney Pixar's Inside Out. Loved this movie, loved the characters, fell in love with sadness. Definitely my favorite of the 2 Pixar movies that were released this year.
Yeah, it's definitely the best Pixar movie to come out in several years. And
Agree.
just all the little ideas of how the mind works that they came up with was just really, really fun to see. And of course, all of the emotions. It's, like a 90-minute tear fest, but it's great.
Number 2 for me is the D23 convention, which was held in August, and they hold that every 2 years, and it kind of gives you a good idea of what's to come for Disney. And I wasn't there, but I experienced it through social media and thoroughly enjoyed what I got to experience with that. But of course, the Star Wars Land announcement was huge, but just the little, some more like the little panels that they had, like the Goofy Movie 20th anniversary panel. So great if you haven't seen that on YouTube. I wasn't there, and I still loved that weekend. I mean, I was just on my phone the whole weekend like, oh, what's coming out now?
Yeah, I mean, just stalking the internet the whole weekend. And, I just remember there being like announcement after announcement after announcement. I was just like, oh my God, this is so great. It was definitely a fun time to be a Disney fan.
It was. Before I get to my number 1, which it's kind of easy to imagine what that is there anything else that you think should have been on my list for the year's top 5 favorite moments in Disney?
Yeah, definitely the Star Wars Celebration, which I believe was also held in August in Anaheim. It's not all things Disney, but since Disney does own Star Wars now, it pertains. And that was where J.J. Abrams and the cast debuted the first full trailer for The Force Awakens. And I just remember watching the live stream of that and just getting so excited because we weren't expecting that to happen, and then watching the trailer and just like crying forever.
That leads us to my number 1 favorite, which is Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. So great. A great little, end to the year, really. But we've been anticipating this since like 2012, I think, is when they announced that they bought Star Wars and all that. So it's just been a long time coming, and it lived up to the hype, to the expectations, to everything for me, for sure. So
yeah, me too. Especially, after the prequels ended, I think everybody just assumed that there was never going to be another Star Wars movie. George Lucas was pretty adamant about that. So to have this happen, and especially to have Disney take over, being a huge Disney fan and a huge Star Wars fan, that was just amazing. And they really hit it out of the park with this movie.
That does it for my top 5 favorites in Disney for 2015. Well, thanks so much for listening to this special episode of Disconnected. Of course, you can check out this podcast on SoundCloud and on my Wit from Wit YouTube channel. Be sure to follow at Disney_connected on Instagram for more Disconnected content. And Katie, where can listeners follow you on social media?
I am on Facebook, Katie Carter St. Louis Movie Examiner, and Twitter at K Carter Examiner. My Instagram is Katie Carter Art.
Yes, awesome. She has some great artwork on there. Lots of Star Wars stuff and Disney stuff too. You can also follow me at Wit from Wit on Instagram, as well as Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, Snapchat, and Periscope. I like to say that's Wit, W-I-T, as in haha funny, from F-R-O-M, Wit, W-H-I-T-T, as in me. Do you have any last words, Katie?
May the force be with you.
Amazing, yes. And I'll see you real soon, folks.